Donald Trump is scaring the people who hate the United States, and that's a good thing. Illegals continue to stream across our southern border in absolutely ridiculous numbers. Bruce Jenner is having second thoughts about CAITLYN Jenner, and Dennis Prager tells us the scariest reason to support Donald Trump. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book Riell Truth Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. Item from NowTheEndBegins.com. Over the past 7 years, world leaders have gotten quite used to a softer America with a president that bows down to foreign rulers. They've gotten used to an America that doesn't make everything and win everything. The golden streets of the United States have mellowed to a pusillanimous bronze hue in the other nations' desire for us to stay in this non-exceptional condition. The New World Order does not want an energized, patriotized, and monetized Donald Trump getting elected president and ruining all their plans and schemes. In a highly unusual move, foreign diplomats are expressing alarm to U.S. government officials about what they say are inflammatory and insulting public statements by Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, according to senior U.S. officials. Senior leaders in several countries, including Britain, Mexico, France, and Canada, have already made public comments criticizing Trump's positions. German Economy Minister Sigmar Gabriel branded him a threat to peace and prosperity in an interview published on Sunday. A spokesman for the Mexican government would not confirm any private complaints, but noted that its top diplomat, Claudia Ruiz Massieu, said last week that Trump's policies and comments were, quote, ignorant and racist, and that his plan to build a border wall to stop illegal immigrants was, quote, absurd. All foreign diplomats I've talked to are amazed at the Trump phenomenon and worried about it, especially in the Middle East and Europe, said Elliot Abrams, senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations think tank, who handled Middle East affairs at the National Security Council from 2001 to 2009 under then-President George Bush. Stop. The people who hate America, the people who have been taking advantage of America, the people who have been bilking America, well, they hate Donald Trump. And that's the best reason I can think of for us to love Donald Trump. It's Thursday, and it's Riell Truth. I'll be back.
United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Ferris Survival.
Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call, 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. It's Thursday, the end of the broadcast week. You know, Donald Trump had his much ballyhooed meeting with House Speaker Paul Ryan today. Paul Ryan is some hack politician punk who thinks he's got anything to say on the national stage. Anyway, here is a Trump insider calling out Paul Ryan. Let's listen. This is from InfoWars, by the way.
Roger Stone joins us with undoubtedly the biggest news since he first started coming on the broadcast 11 months ago. Warning of the plan to steal the convention in a broker convention. At first he got poo-pooed for that it all came out it was true. A month before it was admitted that the Koch brothers were meeting in secret with other billionaires to donate hundreds of millions to try to defeat Trump. He broke that. They denied it the next day. Turned out a month later that meeting actually happened. That was even in the New York Times. So just over and over again, he gives us the inside baseball. That's why they call him dirty and evil and mean, because they're dirty and evil and mean, and because he tells the truth. They're scared of him. Former campaign head for Trump. Well, he has two sources. That was as of last night. I know he's been working on it more. It's up on Infowars.com. He's just been in New York the last few days meeting with Trump and the rest of the campaign team, unofficially, but wargaming with them. So he's got a lot to cover with us today. Roger Stone, Ryan and Priebus planning to extort Trump at RNC. GOP establishment still scheming to steal the nomination from the populist New York frontrunner. And he goes over all this. He's got the internal plan that we're going to use with Cruz. So he's going to break it all down for you to the end of this hour, the next 22 minutes. I want to thank Roger Stone for joining us. Thank you for giving us this exclusive, Roger.
Alex, as always, I'm delighted to be with you. It is, first let's kind of set the table. The mainstream media this weekend, as we have seen, seems to be focused on the past. The point here is not one of party unity, but one of recognizing that the millions of people that Trump is bringing to the Republican banner, or at least to his candidacy, more than offset the 5% who are never Trump. So the focus is entirely wrong, understandably, because Trump is the first political figure, really, in decades, who has been able to expand the Republican base and change the entire dynamics of the next election.
And I love how he said, look, I'm a populist. I'm a conservative, but it's Republican Party, not Conservative Party. Plus, Paul Ryan, these people are not conservative leaders. They're globalist puppets who openly say they'd rather have Hillary. He should be removed as the Speaker of the House right now for that alone. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Roger.
Well, at a minimum, he should be removed as chairman of the Republican National Convention.
And hired by Hillary. He should be the head of her campaign.
Well, if he cannot support the democratically selected nominee of his party, he should step down. But the point here, I think, is that instead of focusing on quote-unquote party unity, Trump yesterday said correctly, the party may not be unified. Let me be clear. This movement and Trump's candidacy is much bigger than the Republican Party. That is the point that they missed. Now, Alex, we only lost the last presidential election by 700,000 votes, distributed in 5 states. If you went to Colorado, Iowa, Florida, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, there are at least 1 million people who are unregistered but meet the profile of Trump supporters. Politics is about addition, not subtraction. I mean, I had to laugh this weekend because, as you've seen, Bush 41, Bush 43 say they won't support the nominee.
Thank God.
The mainstream press thinks this is a negative. This is a positive. George W. Bush destroyed our economy and sent American men and women to fight and die in a war where we had no vital national interest. He is a disgraced foreign president.
And bare minimum covered up the Saudi Arabian role.
At a minimum. So the idea that you can't win without the support of George W. Bush or his father, who is another criminal, it's a false narrative. Then this is even more laughable. Jeb Bush comes and says he can't support Trump because Trump doesn't have the character to be president. Let me get this straight. Jeb Bush, who was a drug dealer in boarding school and college in his early years in Houston and Miami. Jeb Bush, who defrauded a Florida SNL out of $4 million paid for by the taxpayers. Jeb Bush, who lined his pockets in return for official acts he took as governor of Florida. He is saying Donald Trump doesn't have the integrity to be president.
Yeah, a guy that never got above 5 points or whatever. I mean, it just shows the delusion. It's like we live in North Korea or something with them propping these people up and the arrogance of these folks. So this is where we are now.
This is where we are now. You've read, just as I have, my friends, what came out of that meeting with Paul Ryan and Donald Trump. He's still not ready to support Donald Trump, which means he's ready to go. He's ready to leave. He offered his resignation. If I were Donald Trump, I would accept it. Get someone new in there. Item from Breitbart. The CEO of retail giant Target is zigzagging between the many customers who are angered by his decision to open single-sex bathrooms to the other sex, the gender identity progressives who push for the disastrous transgender policy, and the Wall Street stock pickers who've chopped roughly $4.5 billion off the company's value. Stop. Political correctness. What does it cost? Well, it costs honesty. You can't be honest and tell the truth if you're trying to be politically correct. It costs you respect, because any bonehead who goes out and says things that are politically correct that we know are wrong reveals himself to be a bonehead. And in this case, retail giant Target, well, it's cost them at least $4.5 billion. So I hope the CEO of the company is real happy. He's got some explaining to do to the people to whom he answers, the people who are invested in Target, because he has crashed that company's economics simply because he's playing the PC game of saying that self-mutilated would-be mental patients have every bit as much right as anybody to do anything at all that they like. As you know, the freedom to do anything at all that we like is what's killing America. We'll take a break. Riell Truth continues.
Howdy folks, have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Herb.
How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid the quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. You know, you hear me and everyone else telling you that the Clintons are pure evil. But you want specifics. Tell me specifics. Okay, well, I won't, but Roger Stone, my good friend Roger Stone, will. Let's listen up, because he wrote a book about the Clintons, and I think you should read. You'll find the link on my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio, The Clintons' War on Women. Here's Roger Stone.
Roger Stone is the author, along with Robert Murrow, of The Clintons' War on Women. It's a stunning book. Roger Stone is a New York Times best-selling author. He is a long-time political insider and operative. I read one of his books on Nixon. It was absolutely brilliant. This book completely lifts the veil. I mean, uncovers the shocking truth about Bill and Hillary Clinton. This is the book the mainstream media doesn't want you to read. Joining us now is author Roger Stone. Roger, thank you so much for coming on the Cooner Report.
Thanks so much for having me here.
Roger, before I get into and it's an incredible book, and I want to congratulate you. It is brilliantly written, it's courageous, it's insightful, it's incredibly well documented. I believe this book needs to be read by patriotic Americans, especially now that it does appear that Hillary will be the Democratic nominee. Before I get into the book, Biden about 45 minutes ago announced he will not seek the Democratic presidential nomination. Roger, is this now a coronation for Hillary?
Well, not quite yet. Hillary negatives continue to climb. She's being pressed by Bernie Sanders. I mean, the guy says he's a democratic socialist. That's like calling yourself a meat-eating vegetarian. You either believe in democracy or you believe in socialism. They're not mutual. They're contradictory systems. The problem here always was that Joe Biden appeals to the same people Hillary did. All he would have done is split the union vote and the Democratic regular vote, but the energy in the Democratic Party is on the progressive left. Biden, frankly, I don't think he could have stopped Hillary. He might have taken a little wind out of her sails, and he might have improved the chances for Bernie Sanders, but one-on-one, despite the fact that Sanders Hillary if she chose to do so. Remember, most of these people in the Democratic Party,
I have to say, really, one of the most devastating books I've ever read. Roger, before I get into the details of the book, for the audience out there, what's the central theme of the book?
It's simply this, that the whole narrative of Hillary Clinton as a lifetime advocate for women and children is bogus. She's an advocate for women unless you're one of those many, many women who's unlucky enough to be a sexual assault victim of her husband. In those cases, you now become Hillary's target. Bill is a serial rapist. It's not a pretty word. I know these are tough words, but it's factual. He has raped or sexually assaulted dozens of women. We name them in the book. You know some of them, but there's many you don't know. You know about Juanita Broderick, and you probably know about Paula Jones, and you probably know about Kathy Willey, but you don't know about Eileen Wellstone or Helen Dowdy or Dorothy Kyle Browning and dozens of others. And what happens here is once Bill assaults you, first Hillary denigrates you as a slut or a bimbo or trash, and then she, not her operative, she hires the heavy-handed private detectives, Jack Palladino, Anthony Pellicano, now in prison, Ivan Duda, to track you, to intimidate you, to use strong-arm tactics on you in order to silence you. Motive? She doesn't want any of these women getting in the way to their climb to power and wealth.
You mention in the book a 19-year-old woman, Eileen Wellstone, and that you said that was really Bill Clinton's first rape, or at least alleged rape. Can you describe that and talk about that to the audience?
Sure. I mean, Bill Clinton, to this day, continues to be claimed to be an Oxford graduate. In fact, he got an honorary degree from Oxford many, many years later. He was tossed out of Oxford. He was tossed out because he met Eileen Wellstone in a pub and he savagely raped her. He also bit her, which is a reoccurring theme that I'll come back to. The State Department and Oxford both ultimately confirmed that he was bounced out of Oxford. Now, in his biography, he said he left Oxford, which has a 99% graduation rate, to go to Yale Law School. The problem with that is that there's a year in between him leaving Oxford and starting law school at Yale.
and he could therefore have very easily finished his studies and gotten his degree. This is why I call him the Rhodes Scholar rapist, and it is the first known rape by Bill Clinton.
And then you say that, as you mentioned earlier, this. So she. Now, by the way, did you manage to speak with Eileen Wellstone?
Yes, she's now married. She no longer goes by the name Wellstone. She was not prepared to say anything new on the record, but what she did say was that the quotes that are attributed to her in Capitol Hill Blue, another publication in 1999, are accurate. She, like many of these women, is scared to death. They've all been threatened. And let's take the example of Kathleen Willey. Kathleen Willey is an active Democrat, an avid Clinton supporter, works in his campaign raising money to elect him president, works as a volunteer in the White House social office. She goes to Bill Clinton. Her family is having financial difficulties. She goes to Bill Clinton to ask for a paid job, and she's assaulted. She's groped. He tries to put his hands in her panties. He tries to rip her bra. He tries to fondle her. She flees, but that's the good news. After that, her home is broken into and ransacked. Her car windshield is smashed. Her pet cat, Thunderbolt, is murdered and left on her front doorstep. Her children are threatened. She gets late-night phone calls from a male voice saying, "We know where your children go to school." This is all Jack Palladino. This is authorized and paid for by Hillary. In fact, Palladino bragged about it to a Los Angeles reporter. He says he saved Hillary's ass. His only disappointment is that he didn't charge her more. So, it is a true story of serial rape or serial sexual assault, intimidation, strong-arm tactics, cover-up, and of course it's all about greed and power.
Juanita Broderick.
Well,
you get into that. So that's the most famous one that we know that he allegedly raped. So she resisted his advances when he was in Arkansas, and then he raped her?
He raped her repeatedly. He also, as he does with many of his victims, he bit her upper lip. He bit it almost through. If you go online and look this up, this is a classic technique of rapists because it's a disabling move, but it also is a not-so-subtle bid to keep your mouth shut. It's interesting that NBC, hardly a right-wing news organization, did an extensive interview with Juanita Broderick. You can go on YouTube right now and see it. Lisa Myers, who's a very incisive journalist, conducted it. But they sat on the interview, and they didn't air it until after the impeachment vote. Had they aired it beforehand, perhaps the outcome would have been different. Only 2 weeks ago, Hillary Clinton put out a video aimed at college girls who have been assaulted or raped, and she says, and I quote, "You deserve to be believed." Well, why don't we believe Juanita Broderick? Why don't we believe Kathy Willey? Why don't we believe Paula Jones? In the case of Paula Jones, Bill Clinton summonsed her to a hotel room, exposed himself, demanded oral sex, put his hands all over her. She fled. Then he denied repeatedly he'd ever met her, he'd ever heard of her. The whole thing was a hoax. Ultimately, he had to admit under oath in the Monica Lewinsky investigation that not only had he met and assaulted Paula Jones, he then had to pay her $850,000 in a settlement. Why doesn't she deserve to be believed, Hillary? I mean, the list goes on and on.
Now, ultimately, what are the Clintons after? I mean, you have this man who's a sexual predator. Hillary is clearly his enabler. What is it that the Clintons want? What do they seek? What is this all about?
Power and money. She wants to get back in control of the White House. Bill Clinton told an associate of mine, a Democrat, someone at the highest level of his campaigns and Hillary's initial campaign, that if Hillary got elected, that he would be back in there and he would be pulling the strings. And then, of course, there's the question of wealth. They're in it for the money. Peter Schweitzer wrote an extraordinary book, Clinton Cash, about the enormous amount of skimming and theft going on at the so-called Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation is not a charitable organization. It's a slush fund for grifters. And the reason that Hillary has destroyed her email is because those emails show the nexus between the State Department and the Clinton Foundation. So, and there's 4 dozen examples of this. If you had a major contract on her desk at State that needed her approval, then you merely made multi-million-dollar contributions either to the Clinton Foundation or you paid Bill or Hillary for a quote-unquote speech, $750,000 in some cases, $1.5 million for another. Those are very expensive words. And then you got what you wanted. This is bribery. And I have been, as you know, in the book, very critical of Chelsea Clinton. And people say to me, "Oh, why are you picking on a child? Why are you picking on a little girl?" Folks, she's an adult. She's a co-conspirator. She is involved in the theft of money at the Clinton Foundation where she's legally responsible. She says she doesn't care about money, but she had a $3.5 million wedding. She lives in a $10.5 million condominium. Her wedding dress cost $29,000. The liquor bill for her wedding was $3,000, more than most people pay for their whole wedding. Oh my God. So if the Clintons are really concerned about income inequality, like Hillary said she was in the debate, then maybe Hillary should take some of that $258 million she made last year, or the $350 her husband made, and give it to the poor. That's the best way I can see to equalize people's income.
You discuss in the book Hillary's strange relationship with Huma Abedin, Anthony Weiner's wife.
Yes, who
Can you get into the nature of that relationship?
Sure, I prefer to call her Mrs. Carlos Danger. There's several things here that are troublesome. First of all, Huma Abedin is the first woman in the history of the U.S. government to be given a special waiver so that she could work full-time at the State Department, at the same time working for a lobbying company, Teneo, Clinton connected, that lobbies the State Department. At the same time, she's triple-dipping at the Clinton Foundation. Secondarily, her parents, very high up in the Muslim Brotherhood, her brother's still active in the Muslim Brotherhood. Huma is the one who went through and vetted with Cheryl Mills, another henchwoman for Hillary, the emails to determine which ones we can see and which ones needed to be hidden. That means that Huma has had access to all these classified documents. Frankly, I doubt her loyalty to the United States, and I wonder why, when she travels with Hillary, as we have proven, she stays in the same hotel room. Why do they stay together? The State Department spokesman said it has to do with a health condition that Hillary has. Well, if she has a health condition that serious, and she's running for president, we need to know it. So I find their relationship very, very strange.
Do you believe she poses, that Huma Abedin has been posing a national security risk to the United States?
How does someone with these kind of credentials and connections to the Muslim Brotherhood get a national security clearance? I think it's problematic, yes. Given her bona fides, that is a terrorist organization, there's no question about that. They don't have the best interests of the United States at hand, and her ties to it through blood are undeniable.
Roger, we're up against a break. Can you hang on for one more segment, my friend?
No need, Roger. You're done. Thank you very much. My friends, as you can see, the Clintons are garbage, Hillary is garbage, and they might just be selling us out to foreign powers. Item from The Wrap. Caitlyn Jenner, who announced her transition from man to woman last year, has considered detransitioning. The author of a new book about the Kardashian family told The Wrap on Wednesday. Ian Halperin, the author of Kardashian Dynasty, The Controversial Rise of America's Royal Family, said that while researching his book, multiple sources told him the former Olympian had been miserable for months and has considered transitioning back to a man. One source confirmed to me Caitlyn has made whispers of sex change regret, hinting she might go back to being Bruce Jenner, Halperin said, unquote. My friends, let's be real clear on this, okay? Because the show's called Riell Truth, might as well be real clear too. You do not transition. You cannot transition from man to woman. You can mutilate your body. You can get implants. You can get your cheekbones raised. You can do all kinds of stuff, but you're a man, period. If you think you're a woman, well, then I recommend that you see a psychiatrist, probably a team of psychiatrists. But whatever Bruce Jenner is doing to himself and undoing to himself, he has never been a woman. Item from KRGV.com. A landowner living near Rincon said that's in Texas, illegal crossing activity has started to pick up in the area. The landowner, named Junior, asked Channel 5 News not to use his real name. He said he makes it out to his family ranch at least twice a week. He likes to relax, target shoot, and enjoy the nighttime scenery there. Junior said sometimes he sees small groups of people walking through the ranch after crossing the Rio Grande River. That changed a few days ago when he saw a big crowd. Quote, when I do see a group of rangers between 5, 10, maybe 15, Junior said, but 10 years ago when I saw 30, 40, almost 40 people, I knew something is coming up. It's changing, and it's not changing for the good. Unquote. My friends, Hillary wants to bring more illegals to the United States. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for...
My friends, are you thinking of voting for Hillary Clinton? Go to Amazon. There are several books. Roger Stone's is one of them. Several books about the Clinton cash, Clinton's war on women. Lots of books that will tell you all about Hillary from those people, and I've read some of them. Those people who worked up close and personal with Hillary. They'll tell you what a disgusting individual she is, how dishonest she is, how she lies fluently, how she is all about overweening ambition, and she doesn't give a rat's ass about you or me. That's your candidate. Now we're going to go back to the radio, so chill out. Just chill out. What do I got to do? Press this.
Experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities, modified emergency lighting, all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
This is the uniform people who really ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season. Whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Census, the uniform people including. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Named one of the most fired out social Earth. Census.
Alright guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell manning the microphone. A lot of people are grumbling and complaining about Donald Trump. Well, here's Herman Cain, former CEO of the National Restaurant Association, former pizza guy, former executive, and former presidential candidate himself, telling them to get over it. This is from Fox News.
I won't talk about Lindsey Graham, who had like 1 point. You ever see this guy on television? He is nasty. He gets outdealt at all levels of the campaign. He leaves a disgrace. He can't represent the people of South Carolina well. He goes on television. I've never seen a guy on television knocking me all the time. It's hard to believe I win everything in a landslide. This guy goes on television. Then he talks about, I know more about the military than Trump. I've been dealing with it for years. Yeah, for years. And that's why we can't beat ISIS. For years. They deal for years. We need new thinking. Did you hear Bernie Sanders say she suffers from bad judgment? Is he right? I wrote that one down. Bad judgment. Bad. And it is. Look, the emails, that's bad judgment. It's also dishonesty. That's why we call her Crooked Hillary Clinton. Dishonesty. Total dishonesty.
And earlier today, Trump tweeting, Paul Ryan said that I inherited something very special, the Republican Party. Wrong. I didn't inherit it. I won it with millions of voters. Joining us, former presidential candidate Herman Cain. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you very much, Greta.
Well, let's start first with that last tweet. Donald Trump says that he didn't inherit the party, he won it. What do you think?
Once again, Donald Trump is correct. He won the nomination, which meant
that he won the leadership of the Republican Party. Or maybe you can say the co-leadership, since Paul Ryan is the highest elected Republican official in the United States Congress. But he did win it. He earned it. And I think that's what has so many anti-Trump, never Trump folk being out of shape.
Should Speaker Ryan have endorsed Donald Trump as the Speaker of the House, leader of the Republican Party? Should he have endorsed him, or should he have dodged the question, or how should he have handled that? And what do you think about this summit next week? And would you like to be a fly on the wall?
I would love to be a fly on the wall. Speaker Ryan could have said he's going to support Donald Trump since he's the presumptive nominee. That's a little different from saying you endorse. You say you endorse, then some people assume that you agree with everything they say, every position that they take, and how they say it. He could have said he'd support them rather than, I'm not ready for that yet. Because all that did was to throw more gasoline on this internal feud that's going on in the Republican Party. So this meeting next week, I think, is excellent. And if they sit down and go to the table with open minds, they will probably realize that they have more in common than they have differences. I happen to think Paul Ryan may have not wanted to make any sort of commitment to Trump because he might be getting some pressure from some nervous members of the House who are concerned about Trump being at the top of the ticket and they're running for re-election. That's just a speculation. But I think the meeting should be eventful, and I believe it is going to end up with a degree of success.
All right. I'm going to bring the viewers in at this point. Viewers at home, this is your chance to vote on Twitter. Doesn't matter if Speaker Paul Ryan supports Donald Trump. Tweet yes or no using hashtag Greta. We'll show your live Twitter votes throughout the show. Mr. Kane, also Governor Jeb Bush posting on his Facebook page today. He congratulates Donald Trump, essentially winning the nomination. But he says he will not vote for Trump come November, and he's not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. What do you think about that?
That's like a backhanded compliment, okay? He's not going to vote for him, but congratulations. There again, it sends the wrong message to the people who may be still upset that their candidate didn't win. We started out with 17 candidates. It's now down to one presumptive candidate, okay? Get over it and unify the party, or they are going to be responsible for helping to get Hillary elected. I feel very strongly about that.
All right, well, Senator Lindsey Graham, who Donald Trump just tore apart a few moments ago in Nebraska, he says that he won't vote for Hillary Clinton. He's not voting for Trump either, so he's also not doing anything on Election Day.
Well, Lindsey Graham is echoing the Never Trump, anti-Trump movement, which will destroy the Republican Party, period. They are simply delusional, Greta. They are simply delusional. And here's the other thing. They really haven't looked close enough at what they have in common with Donald Trump. They focus mostly on the sound bites that have been fed to the public that have created this negative perception by so many people. If they were to take the time, I believe, like they should find out in this meeting next week, that they have more in common than they have differences.
Mr. Herman Cain, thank you, sir, for joining us.
My pleasure.
And that's what Herman Cain has to say, and he's absolutely right. Now, I'll give you the real truth because he's on TV, and there are only some things he can say and some things he can't. People like Lindsey Graham, Jeb Bush, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, they're not only losers, they are all pissy bitches. And if they don't like what's happening in the Republican landscape, let them leave. Let them go elsewhere. Different party, different country, couldn't care less. They influence nobody. Item. From KRGV.com, Dateline, McAllen, Texas, the impact of people who enter the country illegally is costing taxpayers for now. The city of McAllen is helping with the current influx. The tab is running. McAllen spent $365,736 since the first influx of Central Americans hit the Rio Grande Valley 2 years ago. Now the city is preparing for another wave. The goal is to get ahead of the game by talking to people who run the Sacred Heart Respite Center. Stop. My friends, the absolutely ridiculous number of illegals being brought in by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton cannot be offset by charitable organizations. Not possible. Item from the Washington Examiner. U.S. Border Patrol officials are opening up the Texas border to let 4,000 Cubans in taking about an hour to interview them and check their criminal backgrounds before letting them enter the United States on their own, where most will stay for life. Stop! If all I did all hour was just talk about this one item, it would have been an hour well spent. They're letting in 4,000 Cubans. I assure you these are not scientists, college professors, philosophers, and journalists. These are the people who are going to be cutting your lawn in a short while. Letting in 4,000 Cubans, or at least people from Cuba. Who knows if they're Cubans? Because they vetted 4,000 people in 1 hour. That means each of them took less than a second in being vetted, which means we know nothing at all about these people. Are they Cuban? Maybe they're Syrian or Saudi Arabian coming in through Cuba. Do they hate the United States of America? Have they got anthrax? Have they got plague? Have they got Ebola? We don't know. Each individual was checked for less than 1 second. So if you still don't think, after 7.5 years, if you still don't think that Barack Obama is intentionally trying to destroy this country and that Hillary Clinton has helped him and wants to continue the job if she ever gets to the White House, then you must be deaf, dumb, and blind. Only an insane man in the White House would do this kind of thing, or a man in the White House who desperately wants to destroy America because he hates America, because he hates Americans, and Hillary Clinton's already said she'll do exactly what Barack Obama's been doing, only on a higher level. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Real Truth marches on, my friends. Alright guys, the video's all done. That's it for the week. You'll find this on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. You'll find it on YouTube. You'll find it on Tumblr. Share it with people, please. Not that I'm trying to become a media superstar, but the things I'm talking about, the books I'm referring to, the videos, the websites, the articles, these are all things that people need to be involved with and themselves share with others. Have a good weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Hasta luego.